Hey everyone, how is everybody doing tonight? Welcome to Transformation Tuesdays. Just waiting for everybody to join. Hope everyone has taken a breather. Hopefully I get through this discussion without any tears. It may or may not happen. We'll see. But if you've never joined or never come on to Transformation Tuesdays, this is where we unpack trauma and we reclaim our healing. I'm Yolanda Martin. Tonight we're going to be talking about a topic that's been really heavy. I actually took a couple of weeks to just prepare myself and get ready to do my show because there's been just a lot going on in the world. Hey Elle, thanks for joining. Yeah, so basically I just was talking about me taking a couple weeks off just to get back to myself because everything going on has been a lot between Black Lives Matter and still dealing with COVID and what that's going to look like. Currently, in the state I live in, they are talking about reclosing several locations. So that's been interesting. And then I mostly have been I haven't really been doing much of anything anymore because of everything that's going on in the world as far as like Black Lives Matter. Honestly, as a Black woman, it has touched my heart in many ways. It has made me educate myself in many ways. It has been something that has pulled the blindfold open and just made me want to do more. It's connected me to some family more. It has, it's done major things for my life right now. I think if I could recommend anything right now for Black women who are struggling or Black men that are struggling, it would be a support system, 100%. Like, get people who surround you. Tonight, I'm going to have Miss Elle on from her live. She does Wind Down Wednesdays, which will be tomorrow. I'm going to have her come join me and just have a discussion about some of the things that, we've talked about maybe offline, or some of the things that have been coming to our attention since all of this stuff has been going on, and just touch on some of the topics and what our feelings are about them. I'm going to go ahead and let her in. She has requested. And yeah, so we can just have this discussion. If anyone else is wanting to join, they can go ahead and jump on at any time. Hey, Elle, how are you?
What up? I'm hot. That's what I am.
Yeah, it's hot over here too. It's like 103. It's been hot all day.
I'm over here momming and everything. I'm watching my son because my older son, go over there, boy, is not over here. So
Yeah,
if I get distracted, that's why.
it's okay. What's up, Miss K Janae? So
What
we
up, Kia?
were we were just talking about just everything going on and how there's just a lot going on right now. Just how to wrap your mind around it. How I had to take a couple weeks. I think you took a week or two
I
off
took a
too.
week.
You took a week, yeah.
hmm
I took two just because I'm I'm trying to smile more and not get on here boohoo crying. So that's where I'm at. But I wanted to talk about some of the topics tonight. I wanted to talk about, as a Black mom, kind of what that's like for right now. I mean, I thought it was going to die down a little bit, but not so much. It seems to actually be getting worse as we fight back. It just seems that more things are happening. As of this week,
Yeah.
there's been some lynchings. Like, why are we not talking about that? But you're not talking about it. They just want the movement to go away. Meanwhile, kids are being kidnapped. Lynchings are happening. Like, how can you not be affected by that? How can you continue to say, what did they do? I'm just over that statement.
I mean, I would think that it was lynchings. I mean, nothing has been confirmed as a lynching yet.
Right.
So, I mean, that's us speculating, but I kind of feel like that's what's going on.
Yeah.
He
Well,
says exposure causes war.
right. Right. And that's where I feel like it's gotten past the awareness point. It really has. Like, we've been aware. It's just that how many and how long do we deal with it?
I mean,
So,
what's the resolution, I guess is the question. I mean, I know right now there's some reforms going on. So, I mean, there's some steps happening.
hmm
It's not an overnight process. I didn't expect, me personally, I know that a lot of us probably want sweeping reforms, like large changes and stuff like that. But the reality is, in this country, it's not just going to be like that. That type of stuff takes time. Just like the civil
yeah,
rights movement, it took time to even see any type of changes. It'll be the
right.
same way. I think what's crazy for me is that I feel like we're doing 1964 kind of over again.
Right.
And that's crazy to me,
Well,
to
for
feel like
me,
I'm living in that time frame.
I think to me, I get worried when I hear people say, well, nothing's going to change, so I'm not going to vote. That worries me because you
Yeah.
have to have even if you're signing petitions, what's up, Q? Even if you're
Thank you.
signing petitions, even if you are marching, if you're protesting peacefully, hopefully, even when you're doing these things, there's people who, when these reforms start to come in, have to vote on them. So half of the step is getting the right people in there to vote. Because if you have the
Absolutely.
wrong panel in there making decisions for you, it's not going to matter if we sign a million petitions if they're not ready to move on them. So I think our first step is going to be taking the step we fought for to vote and starting there. About 88% of our Congress is up for re-election. Why don't we start there, become more educated so that we can start voting the wrong people out and getting the right people in there to
Yeah.
vote, because it does matter. I think it's a miseducation to say we don't have a voice. You definitely have a voice. Half of us don't use it, though. When a voting is a different type of voice, you are making a
True.
decision.
I think people get, like I said, people live in not, I'll say a fallacy of just expecting change to be so rapid.
Right.
But like you said, it do start. The senators, I mean, first of all, having a majority Republican Senate where they are their president's backbone to the
Right.
core. They're very
Right.
loyal to him. It's crazy. It just seems like I don't like politics. First of all, politics is not my thing at
hmm
all. But it just seems like the morality has gone out of this
But
country.
they have control.
Some
Is
people
the
may
reality.
say, some people may say morality was never really here. When you have slaves and
Right.
putting the Japanese in internment camps here in the United States, which is something I didn't see in my history, but I learned that when I was in college taking a diversity class.
hmm
I think that's another thing where it starts too is education, getting books, getting history books to our children that tell true stories and tell everybody's story, not
Right.
just
The
one
diluted
story.
version, the
The
diluted
dialogue
version of
and
what's
call it
going on.
American history. I feel like if it's going to be American history in the books, it needs to tell everybody's story,
Right.
not just because I can see how they can exert white supremacy if that's predominantly what you're learning. And I remember being in my diversity class. I forgot the name of it. It was taught by a Hispanic man. And I remember this redhead Caucasian boy in my classroom. And I could tell that when we would watch the movies and everything, because most of the stuff that we watched, and even in some of the books and our topics that we cover, all showed how white people oppressed all these different races,
hmm
and I could just see him getting so tense and just, I think in one of the classes he actually said, can we watch something else? Like, it just seems like all this stuff is just one sided. No, that's the truth. That's the
Right.
realism of what has happened in this country. But it just doesn't get told. So I think with educating ourselves, it starts, there. For those of us who are older and not in school, that's
Right.
a simple. It's a click away.
Not only that,
Google
but
or
so that you can, if the teachers aren't teaching it and that's not what they're programmed to do, then it has to start with us. That is our
yeah,
responsibility to teach them, because then we don't have to wait till things like this happen to have the discussion of, oh, why, mommy, is this happening? Or, you should have these conversations anyway. But for me, I remember when my child, oh, let me just read Q's real
Q. I
quick.
was just reading his comment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he said, agreed. I just tried to step out of my ignorance and voting in politics. Yeah, I think it's opened my eyes a lot more, just to, this is what we have to do. That's who has the floor, really. What's up, Ashley?
right. Hey, Ash.
We
He said
need,
we need to know it's bigger than just the president. Voting goes down to our local council. To me, that's where you can actually affect the actual change.
exactly.
Your local governments, and then go from there, because that's where you would see the most readily, maybe more
The
rapid
change,
change.
right?
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I heard somebody say that you can recall different members
Yeah.
and different state
Yep.
representatives and stuff like that. I don't think
Yeah.
that was something readily known. I only know that is because I watch CNN. I look at it a few times throughout the day on my phone.
Yeah.
Always have for the past since I got old.
I
Um,
think one of the
yeah,
biggest things we do is we expect media to bring it all to us. Okay, so we're not, I mean, we can say, I watch this and I watch that, but you're watching what they allow us to see.
true.
So if you're going off of a campaign, somebody doing a campaign or someone slashing somebody, that's not necessarily what the truth is. That's what's twisted as far as what they want you to know. It's important for us to do our education on that and make sure that that's what the real message is, so that when you are going to vote and you're going to do these decisions, you can make the right decision and you can be educated as to what's going on. Ashley said media is heavily filtered, and Miss K. Janae says the government always has an agenda. Exactly. So to me,
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
watching a couple of commercials, and I'm watching how they're attacking China now, and I'm like, but wait, I remember before Trump was elected, him heavily going to China for a lot of his things. So now all of a sudden it's different because you want to build a fear of China. So to me, that whole campaign, I look at it from the outside, and I question a lot of things now. I need to look that up myself. And I would love for everybody else to just step outside of what you're seeing on the news, on Facebook, step outside and look at it, what it really is, because that's important. We have to do that.
I agree. I agree. I actually, when it comes to politics, because I know a couple of people that are heavily like into that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, I'll run them by. I have a cousin that's heavily into that stuff, and so sometimes I'll run things by her. But like I said, it's nothing in the world of technology that we're in. It's nothing to just get on a computer, look at different things. Look, for me, I think I'm more looking for stuff from African Americans nowadays.
Yeah,
All the way down to medical.
I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying? Like I mean, because I'm at this age where things is changing. I know 2020 has been a hell of a year. I
Mhm.
mean, for me personally, with health things, medical things, just things I'm noticing changing within me. So it's like all the way down to medical physicians and stuff. I want somebody who knows us.
Right, right.
Um, and that's no shade. Not saying that a Caucasian doctor couldn't tell me anything or whatever, but personally, I never had an African American doctor, and I would like that. But yeah, education is so important nowadays. And to Ashley's point about media, you can see how things are diluted. You can see how they'll gear things um, to a specific market. So, for instance, like those people president, for a period of time, he was talking about the black vote, the black vote, the black vote, black people. And it's so funny because he talks, the way he would say it, every time he would say black people, I felt like we were a commodity or some type of thing,
Mm.
you know. But now you don't hear him talking about that no more.
No.
Um, Another thing I recognize is how important our vote is, how important our voices are, because look
Mm-hmm.
what happened with Starbucks.
Right.
Just how, so quickly, you know, they flipped that. You know, the word got out, hey, we can't wear Black Lives Matter stuff, and they flipped
Right.
that shit like immediately. So our dollars, I think as a community, we need to come together. We need to start circulating our dollar within our community. And realistically, I think that we need to try to build up our own personal Black Wall Street that can become bigger and broader
Right.
until we can get back to where we actually should be.
And don't turn
Um,
away from each other. Like, it's up to us to build each
what,
other up as well.
but you're seeing that right now,
Right.
like in the midst of all this stuff. Like, you know, sometimes I have Shade Room on Instagram, and I would normally be on that just because I love watching. Like when I'm feeling down, I'll go to the comments and I'll be cracking up. I don't know some of the stuff, but
Yeah.
when I'm also on there, there's those things such as, you know, the beefs and the different quarrels between Black women or,
Right.
you know, men, and I'm just like, we got time for that right now?
Right. We don't have
You
time
know,
for it at all.
it's like I also so for here's another thing that's been tripping me out is when it came to the, you know, George Floyd's children. You know, one of his daughters is getting all this attention. The one whose mother bought her
Right.
own camera is getting all this attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I just noticed like how many people are saying, you know, he had 5 other kids. He had this, and that. Okay, then they should get on camera too. But here's what I know too. It's like that shouldn't even be the focus of any of this. To me, that's like a distraction when you're taking away this little girl. Yeah, she's getting all of this money and her college is paid for and all that. Okay, but we still got a bigger issue still at hand. And to me, it
Right.
just seems like it created another division, another
Mm-hmm.
conversation that to me really don't need to be had at all.
Right.
You know, they start talking about the money that came from the GoFundMe. Oh, his uncle, the uncle has the money. He gonna divide that money out if they get like really. So it's just like I just feel like as a community, it's so important right now for us to stay focused.
Right.
One thing that you said at the top of your show was about having a support system.
Yeah.
Um, and I just got finished watching a video of, I don't know if you know Kadeen and DeVal Ellis. I think
Mm-hmm.
I've sent you different
I
videos
love
of them.
them. I'm a
So
fan.
she just finally spoke on it.
Mm-hmm.
She said she had took some weeks off from being able to talk about it because she's a mother of 3 Black boys.
Yep.
She's a wife to a Black man. She has a Black brother, Black father, and so on,
Mm-hmm.
so on. She couldn't even. It was hard for her to get through, you know, her statement. But I commented on it and I was like, your tears are our tears. And I told her, I have a support system of mothers. That's what's helped me,
Right.
going through all this stuff. Right now, I just shared within our chat, they're shooting on the freeway.
Right.
You
It
know what I'm
helps.
saying? There was 3 areas. And so as a mother of a child, I have a 20-year-old. It's one of my kids. And he's a Black male. Like, I am in fear. I have God. I trust God. I do. But the tangible part of me, the realistic, the human, not realistic, but the human part of me, it has a level of fear. And the only people, I mean, the way that I kind of get through it is turning inward to my circle of moms, is what I'll call it, to try to help me through it and things like that. So I will say, because I have a lack of understanding why we are such an issue.
Right.
I really do. I don't
Right.
understand, why being Black is such a task, man. It's like
It's a
it shouldn't be
threat.
this hard. It shouldn't be this hard to be Black in America.
Yeah. And
And it's
see,
not just Black men, it's us too as women that have to
right.
be concerned as well,
Oh,
you know? So
definitely. So my biggest thing, what's up, Born to Reach? How you doing, JC?
what up,
So,
JC?
I have had such an interesting week because this week, before I was posting, some of the videos about, just different events going on to bring awareness. But then this week, I have been posting a lot of educated people who are very educated, giving education because I need people to see that. Like
Yeah.
there's been both on both sides. There's been a white woman who predominantly teaches Black kids who went on a rant and said, you know what, this is not okay. And, you know, as a white woman, I'm ashamed of, you know, what has happened and what we portray as being okay. And it's not okay. And it's up to us because we started the racism to end it. And I respected that because I was like, that's true. How can we alone stop something we didn't start? You know, we can definitely have movements, but we are outnumbered in this. And there is so much, like you said, I have also went to buying black, supporting black businesses. I think I was doing it a little bit before all this started, when COVID and stuff was going on. I think that started then, but even more now. Like, I don't even honestly eat out at the big chains anymore either, just because it's better for me and my family if I'm cooking, if I'm supplying, if I'm educating, if I'm doing it all. I'm already home.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer that. But I've listened to black women, and you're gonna have to tell me her name because I refuse to even remember it. But
Candace Owens.
her, her, to me, it's not even worth me remembering your name, because for you to get on national TV and build a platform on tearing down black people and who we are and how we need to work harder than we already work, and even though it's hard, just keep going, and white supremacy is not an issue. Like, how can you obviously have never been through anything in your life to say things like that? You can't.
So
And if
I
you
feel
do,
like
you
she's been
ignore it.
paid.
I definitely feel like it. But it's
He said
it's
her and her
sickening.
splitters can go.
Right. It's sickening though. As a mother of a black child, as a wife of a black man, for me to hear a black woman who looks like me, who is educated just like me, say that, well, you have to realize that our people commit more crimes. Do we commit more crimes? Or is it the fact that we are just arrested more and given higher standards because we're seen as less than equal already?
Right.
But we can't educate somebody who thinks they know everything, because she's the one who's supposedly speaking for the black community when she really has no idea what the hell she's talking about and refuses to educate herself on her past. Sad. It's unfortunate.
I just wonder if she's of a different, like, to me, when it comes to her, I feel like it's classism. You know, when it comes where we're segregated by that. It's funny because I saw a pastor talking about it, and when he said, if I can remember exactly what she said, that check FBI stats argument is tired. How can you
Boom.
check the FBI stats when isn't J. Edgar Hoover, wasn't he the fucking racist that started? Anyway, I'm not. Anyways.
Like I said, it's a name I won't
they
even know. I don't even want to remember the girl's name, period.
she
Like,
you know and she claims that she's not a Republican, but well, how does she say she's a conservative? Because I remember, like I said, watching a video where the rapper Ti took her ass to task, like all the way down to everything.
right.
And I forgot what she said. I know she's conservative, but she said she didn't vote for Trump. I remember her saying that. But I just think that when people speak that way, they obviously haven't had the type of experiences, and they totally emancipate themselves from those who have had it.
She's a little
Um,
privileged in a sense.
yeah, but here's the thing. You can be privileged and still empathetic.
True.
But I think
True.
that when you have classism, when you come from if classism is in play with you, then that's how you remove yourself from that empathy. You
Right.
know, you see people just as less than because you don't understand their situation. I haven't, me personally, like some of the things she probably talked about. I don't look at any of us as, super criminals. I'm sure in white communities, because I think that when you're looking at the number of crime, it's basically by your community and what the makeup of that community is. And so, number one, if you're in a predominantly black area, you're probably going to have nothing but black crime, black on black crime.
Right.
If you're in a predominantly white area, you'll probably have some of that too. But reality is, shit, white people come in our communities and fuck up stuff too. So
Right.
it's like, I don't know. I just feel like she's Auntie Tommy. And
Auntie.
I feel like she's Auntie Tommy, and she is probably on payroll.
Yeah.
I remember Ashley showed us in our chat that they were hiring for people for an event that just so
That,
happened to correspond on the same day as Trump's rally,
right. How
in the
ironic.
same city.
Yeah.
So, she may be on payroll because if I'm not mistaken, she was a Fox contributor,
Hmm.
Fox News or Fox something contributor. So, I know that she's spoken at different conservative events, but
She
I
don't
don't
speak
know.
for black people. Let's just say it like that. You are not the voice of black people just because you have our skin color. Like, no, let's not get it twisted. Like, that is not okay for you to go in and have an opinion that downgrades us when we're already low enough. We don't need you to do that at all. And how dare
So
you?
here, let me ask this question though, and this I don't like saying devil's advocate, but we talk about community coming together. She still is a Black American. She is African American. Should we still embrace her though?
Her morals are not where my morals are. This is how I see it. If your morals are compromised, I can't count on you to carry me nowhere. That's with anybody, race, color, anything. Because I would walk with a white person if their morals were in check, honestly,
Hmm.
for this cause. So no, if your morals are wrong and you think I'm beneath you, I'm not walking with you. That's how I see it. Because I am looking at her character. I'm looking, and that's why I watched her a couple of times to see if any empathy ever came from what she's portraying. She has her
Hmm.
morals are completely different than mine. She doesn't even see. I don't see her seeing black people as people. Like we talked about, some people see
Mm.
black people, black men especially, when she speaks. I don't see that she sees us as a people, as citizens. I feel like
She's still
she's
saying that 3/5.
right. I feel like she's seeing us as this is their land and we came here. No, we were brought here, boo, but I don't expect her to ever do the research or ever speak on that part of it, ever.
Well, if you notice that when they have these panels and discussions, people speak on the parts that make them look good.
Right,
They'll
right.
omit, other relevant truths,
Hmm.
um, but they will focus on only like I think she kept saying, I just want to talk about the numbers. I just want to
Yeah,
talk
that's
about the
it.
numbers. And I'm like, what about the realities? Anybody can skew numbers. Like the little girl that was saying, I don't know if you saw the video of the little white girl. Well, she probably was 16. I think her name was Haley, and she was schooling her parents
Oh yeah, I
on the
saw
Black
that.
Lives
Hmm.
Matter. And her mother kept trying to throw out stats to her, and
Hmm.
she killed her.
Right,
She killed her mama on some stats. And she
right,
said, numbers can be skewed.
right,
Absolutely. If police can mess up evidence, delete evidence, and everything else, numbers can be just easily
right,
skewed as well.
right.
But, I don't know. I don't have, I personally don't know what all the answers is. One thing I do know is that as a community, we have to come together. We don't have time for in division amongst our community.
So are
This
you
time,
saying that this woman, because I don't know, whatever her name is,
you
you're
know her name. I didn't
saying,
say it twice.
and I still refuse to learn it. So you're saying that if this girl needed something from you or wanted you to follow something, that you would be cool just because she's black coming together with her?
Oh no, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay, I was just
I'm
making
talking about in a
sure.
no, because I don't think that she would see herself as a part of our community.
Exactly.
So
And I was
so
surprised about that actually, because I actually know people who I learned don't feel the way I thought they did. Like people's character is really coming out right now. If you really want to learn who somebody is, have a conversation with them, a real conversation.
mhm.
And I guarantee you by the end of the conversation, you will know where they stand, especially when it gets to big issues.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and that's the cross in the road for me. It's like, do you just deal with that person because you have forever, or do you make a decision to step away from that? Because to me, if you show me who you are the first time, I'm gonna believe you.
I don't have
One
a problem with. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
one of the other things I just wanted to talk about is today. I think it was today that I posted a video, and it was of a man, and he was in his own front yard. And I think I posted another video like this yesterday too, But he was very educated. He had gold teeth, you know, he had tattoos or whatever. But he was coming up his driveway and a police officer was passing him. And he decided to turn around and come back. Mind you, he's in his own front yard, his own yard, and nobody else was around. And so the police officer tells him, you look suspicious. I need to, you're basically tried to detain him. And he was like, for what? I'm at home. Told him right then, like, I'm at home. This is my house. Well, I didn't know that no one lived here. Okay, but this is my house. And you're on, and he had a sign like no trespassing. He's like, well, it has a no trespassing sign, but I live here. This man argued with this cop and then educated him, pulled out the law book and read him. This is why you cannot, this is why you cannot actually arrest me. And the man called his supervisor. And I was just like in awe of this black man. I was so proud of him because he knew the law. And there was nothing, they couldn't do nothing. They couldn't arrest him. They tried several times to detain him, but because he was so educated, they had to go back on the law and go look it up. And basically what he was arguing was if he's in his yard for the state of Texas, that they cannot detain him or they cannot arrest him without him committing a crime, which is just cause, right? But what is happening is they added in, I think across the board, that if you feel that a person is suspicious, you can stop them, which gives them the authority to pull people over, which gives them the authority to harass people, basically. And he was like, you're out here pirating. Like, you're out here looking for a reason to arrest me and to harass me. And I'm at home. Imagine being at home. And it's happening more and more as these things are coming of light. And I'm noticing that police officers are getting irritated with you knowing your rights, but it's important. It's so important because he had called his supervisor. His supervisor came and said, basically, you are breaking the law by not showing me identification. Now he has asked you for identification. Mind you, when he pulled up, he never asked for his identification, didn't ask for his name, didn't do anything, just tried to arrest him. He was like, you can't arrest me and you're on my private property. So this whole conversation is going on and you can't arrest him because you have no grounds to arrest him. He hasn't committed a crime. He's in his yard. He's like, well, I saw you come down the driveway. It's my driveway. It's my property. Well, there's
wasn't it a fluid area or something?
No. But he was saying, well, I never seen nobody live here, so it's suspicious to me, so I can do this. And that's all that his excuse was, is you look suspicious. Because I have gold teeth, he's like, no, I'm going to educate you. I'm going to actually show you what the law is, and I'm going to educate you so you can stop doing this to me and everybody else. But that's half of the problem. If they don't know their own laws, and they're making it up as they go, because I've had it happen to me where a police officer had no reason to pull me over, but pulled me over and came up with some stupid excuse as to why he pulled me over just to see what was in my car. But for what? Because there were several people, mind you, children were in my car. But where are all of you going? And I'm like, it's me and children. What do you mean, all of us? You're looking for something that's not there. Anyway, the end of the story was the guy knew his rights. They had to get in their car and leave. But see, my thing is, if they weren't willing to educate themselves, they would have detained him. But he kept telling him, he's like, you can do that, but I know the law and I can fight myself. I don't need no lawyer. I can go to court and get myself off and you'll be the one on the other side of it. And they recorded the whole thing. But I think we have to get a lot smarter and more educated so that we can fight those things, because they get really irritated when you know your rights as well. Why are you so irritated that I'm educating myself when you're telling me what my rights are and I'm supposed to just listen to you? And that's half of the battle.
That's crazy. But yeah, that's a good point. And like I said before, educating. Because the way that they doing it, and I think they're going to be more irritable now that there's so much focus on police right now. I saw something about there's a lot of cops starting to resign. And I'm like, is this why people are starting to come up hung and stuff like that? Are they joining their brotherhood? but that's me just speculating. I'm
But
not saying that's a
funding, like,
fact, but
think about funding. If you decline, or if you defund us, we will not do our jobs. You think that's going to make us do our jobs? I've seen several signs like that, and it's like, well, you defund schools all the time. These people who are supposed to be teaching our children, who are supposed to be raising our children up, you do that all the time with no problem. So why am I paying a police officer more than I pay a teacher? That to me shouldn't happen at all, but it
well,
happens.
and I just saw too that somebody, I think it was Google, had posted the different countries and how they require. Um, sorry, my child. They require higher education. So 2 years of college, at least that, and different things like that. And they were saying in the United States, they only require like a high school diploma or something like that. I don't know how true that is. I was going to look it up to see, but I definitely think that it is important for you to have, if you're going to have a profession like that, I think that you need to have continued training. And,
Right.
and it's funny because I've been watching, like, as I watch CNN, they have all these different representatives from, retired lieutenants or, commanders and things like that. Oh, GED. Oh, see, that's crazy.
Which is not even a
That's
high school diploma,
problem
which
number
means,
one. Not
right.
hating on nobody who has a GOD, but I'm saying if you're going to go into a profession of that, you need to know law. I
I
think
think
that
you
you should
need
be
to be
required to train
social
on the
work.
law.
You need to actually go through a social work transition as well, so that you know how to
Well,
deal with people who
yeah,
have poverty and stuff.
yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Continue training, empathetic training. You need to be trained on the communities that you're working in, as far as not as a negative connotation,
Right.
but as a positive, how to
Very much
interact. Like
so.
the class that I took in college would have been perfect for a police officer. It would have been perfect for anybody who has to deal with the public in general.
Right.
Because, like I said, it went over pretty much every race. I didn't know this, that Middle Eastern Indians are considered Asian. Did not know that.
I didn't know that
I
either.
learned that thing. Well, because they share the continent. That's why. They're
Okay.
technically Asian. So I learned that in that class. We didn't learn that I never saw that in my American history book. Sorry if you can hear that noise, my baby playing. But it went over people with disabilities. It went over LGBTQ. Sorry, I gotta say it slow because I'll be forgetting them letters. It just went over everything, and I just feel like if you're gonna be a public service representative or anything like that, you need to learn about people so that, because you can't deal with everybody the same,
Right.
right?
Most
Especially
people.
like right now. Right now, I feel like when you're dealing with African Americans right now, we're on edge. Like, we're on edge. So I'm not shocked that the dude that just got killed in the Wendy's drive-thru, I'm not shocked that he ran. Most of us probably
We're
would try to
scared.
run
Right.
and get out of your custody because we
Or
don't know
what
what you're
about
gonna do.
the girl who's just this, I'm scared to go anywhere alone. Honestly, I don't want my kids away from me right now. I don't want to go nowhere alone, because I saw the post I think you sent to me, where the girl was just at a stoplight and got shot. Like, I don't
Yes.
want to have to, like, I'm very cautious right now. I shouldn't have to walk around scared for my life, for my kids. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't worry that if my kid goes to the mailbox, he may come up missing. Like, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of it.
Oh,
And we all, we talk about the right to bear arms. I think it's time now. It's time. Like, if you have the means to get a firearm and keep it safe in your household, I think it's time, because I'm not gonna wait for
shotguns are
somebody
cheaper
to
than
come.
handguns.
Right. I'm not gonna wait for somebody to come
Get those
in and
quick.
take over my household, for somebody to walk up on my property and just arrest me for no reason. Like, I'm over all of that. Q
Well,
says
not even that.
exactly. He says can't go to the store, park, or anything. No, you can't. You're pretty much on. I feel like, to me, when we opened up from quarantine, I felt like it was like game on, like a switch went off. Like, all right, they're out here now. Let's put them back in. That's how I felt. I felt like I was put right back on quarantine because of all of the trauma that was going on the streets. Like, you put me right back in my household because I don't feel like I can go about freely. I don't feel like that. Especially, I live in a Republican state. So you're telling me
Yeah,
if
you
I
do.
if I defend myself, if I am the only black person in a scenario, that I'm automatically to blame. That's scary. I do get followed in cop cars a lot. Like, it happens to me all the time. I do have that fear. I have to explain it to my kids because they're like, well, why are you, why are the cops following us for blocks and blocks at a time? I don't know. But just make sure keep your head straight forward. I have had these conversations with my kids because, like, I don't want to give them no reason to pull me over. I don't. It's a
I feel
fear.
you. I know I went out today and I was like looking all around, and now I don't pull up to the line no more. I kind of stay behind a car a little bit.
Right.
I'm just cautious. I have tinted windows, but still, I'm watching anybody that's walking in the crosswalk, and you got some look like you putting your hand in your pocket, like. And it's hard to be on edge like that. Like, it's weird. It just feels like we just went back in time.
Yeah.
It feels like went back in time. But I mean, like I said, the best thing that we can do at this point, um, though we do live in fear, we can't let it get the best of us. We can't stop living our lives.
Right.
I
I
think that
agree.
people win. I think that people win if we go ahead and get in a fetal position and just, don't want to go out our doors anymore. They do win. And I just think that we have to find a way, though we have to be cautious. Like me, I'm looking into getting a CCW license at this point, because I need to be able to protect myself. I'm a single woman. I don't have a husband
Right.
no more. I don't have a boyfriend right now. Well, we'll see what happens, but I don't have nothing like that right now.
Right.
So it's me, when I go out and stuff, and I have to protect myself. So I'm
Yeah.
looking into that. I think that I recommend anybody and everybody, especially in our community, should do the same thing. If you don't have your gun license, go get it. It's so simple. Well, I'm in California, so I was gonna say
It's
out
simple
here
here
it's
as
simple.
well.
It's a
Um,
15. I think it's what 25 question, or it might be 100 questions. I'm not sure. I don't think mine. I think it was 25 questions. I remember when I took the test, I got mine 100%. It only
right.
costs $25 to get your license. You pay for the test, boom, and then you go buy your gun. You got a 10-day waiting period. As long as you ain't crazy or they don't find nothing in your background, you good.
Right.
They show you how to use your gun, um, and then you got to show them how you can take it apart and whatever, and then they let you take your gun and go home. And then it's about practicing, knowing how to effectively use your gun so that you can effectively protect yourself.
Right.
And I'm speaking to women right now, like, ladies, we need to do this. If you got a man at home, that's dope, that's cool, but they being hunted too, so you need to
That
protect him
part.
as well, and
Right.
vice versa. But for us who are single, man, really, go ahead and take that. Like, get you a stun gun too. Those are like $30. You can get those. But have some type of protection, not just pepper spray. I mean, you can have pepper spray and a stun gun. Spray that ass and stun them. And if you can run away, but if you got bad knees, then you're gonna need some other shit to help you
Right.
out.
Right.
So we just need to get realistic about where we are. You know what I'm saying? But again, don't allow it to not let you live. Don't let it stunt what
Right.
plans that you had for yourself. I mean, aside from all this going on, we have Corona still.
Right. We need
We still
coping
have that,
mechanisms
and
instead.
and and Corona's killing us too. So I don't know what it is about our DNA, our genetic makeup that just makes us a target no matter what. But it's like, we have to hold on, baby. We have to we still have to live, man. Don't
Yeah.
I took 2 weeks and I kind of was starting to get into a state of depression. I had to tell somebody to stop sending me videos
Right.
because, though I knew everything was going on, to be able to see those videos constantly over and over again, it was
Yeah.
starting to mess with my psyche. And we still have to take care of ourselves. We still have to take care of our mental health. You're still responsible for that.
Right.
So, when it's too much, tune out and just become aware, find another way of awareness so that you're still in the know about your surroundings and things that's going on. Or just turn down for a week or a couple of days. I'm sure that somebody in your family or one of your friends going to put you in the know, because I know
Right.
my phone be going off constantly some days with the group of women that I talk to on a daily. So,
Yeah. I
you know,
think that is important, along with like coping mechanisms. We talk about how to get back to peace. Get in your Bible. Stop listening to, gotta get them, gotta get them, gotta get them, and get into your word too. That's important. Sit with yourself. Sit with your Bible. Get a woosah moment, like you said. Like take a couple breaths. Enjoy that breathing
Yeah.
room, because I think it's so important. Get a support system. Find out who your surroundings actually are, for one, and then when you decide that these people are people that will actually uphold you, then rock with those people, and hold
Right.
on to that, because we do need a support system right now. That's, I think, number one. Get you a support system. If it can be in your household, it could be, just you having conversations with your husband. Have those conversations with your husband now. What is y'all's game
Yeah.
plan? Create a plan for that. Or boyfriend, or even if it's just your homies, your friend, your guy friends. Hey, if this happened to me, do I have somebody I can call on? Um, I think it's also important to educate. Don't just go based off of, like we said earlier, don't go based off of what media is telling you. You have your phone in your hand majority of the time. Pick up a book, even pick up a book and read what's really going on. Watch a documentary on
Documentaries.
something, right?
Hmm.
Watch watch even some of the good movies that I watched that might put you on edge, but one of them was US American. I like that one because she was married to a white man, and it gave a different perspective of how he looked at things versus how she looked at things as a black man. I think a lot of people
You
should
mean
watch
American
that.
Son?
That's what I meant. Yes, American Son, and then the other one is 13th. Both of those movies I watched, they did make me angry. I'm not gonna lie, and I was able to woo saw after, but it was very educational though, because it covers a lot of scenarios of segregation. It talks about where we've come from, and a lot of political things that have happened to us over the years that have put us where we are and where we need to go. And for me, faith is a big thing. So for me, I'm praying all day. Like, I took a couple of weeks off, and when I was supposed to be on this show, I would be praying. I would be
Hmm.
trying to recover some of my peace back, because this does diminish you. It's tiring. It's
Yeah.
exhausting. So I think it's very important to just do those three things. Just educate yourself, vote too. Please vote. Don't let this push you away from voting, because if you're doing that, you're allowing your decision to not count. It doesn't count until you make it not count. If you don't even put a hand in there, and let's remember that we fought for that right in the first place. You got something to say, huh? So
Yeah.
let's remember that we marched and fought for that right. So please utilize it. So I don't know. That's
I
where I'm
agree.
kind of at with everything, and just don't stop, because I think we are getting somewhere, even though it seems that, of course, when we fight, they gonna fight back. But it's important that we don't let up,
Absolutely.
because there are, like you said, there's changes that's happening. There are important people that are starting to step in. So, I mean, we just got to keep at it and maintain our mental health. I think that's important. If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, then, like you said, step away. Step away for it. It's
Yeah.
okay to step away. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest about my platform, my life. If I feel overwhelmed, I had to take 2 weeks, because it was just so much for me. It's a lot. And I felt like, okay, it's better for me mentally to just take a couple days, recollect myself, and then, because I do purge. I purge when I'm on here. So it's great for me to be able to come on here and discuss with other people, and have conversations. So to me, that's cleansing as well.
Feel you. That's how it is on my life too.
Yeah.
Um, just to be a part of a community and learn and read the comments from people and just see other people's thought processes. A lot of times I come to realize I'm not alone in mine, my thought process, my emotions, my feelings. Um, and that's some part, some way, social media is bad for a lot of things, but it also has some good parts of it. And that's one of the things when you have times like this, that first kind of week, seeing how people were coming together, sharing information. Like if we could just continue to share like information as people read up on laws,
Right.
share that, throw that across social media. You know what
Do
I'm
that.
saying? Since everybody's so locked into their phones.
Right.
Um, hey, no, don't do that. So yeah, so I just feel like you said, education, but I just want to make sure that people know as much as you're doing all of that, and like you said, watch documentaries and stuff. Also, do things that make you feel good, because you don't want to lose yourself in all of this madness. It's too
Right.
easy to do.
Right.
Still got to take care of yourself. That's all I. That's
Right.
all I got. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
And I think reminding your kids, if you have Black children, that they're the way that people are approaching them, possibly the way that people are treating them is not okay, even if it is our history.
Right.
That our skin color is not it's not a weapon, it's not a threat, it's not something that allows for other people who don't look like us to treat us any less.
Right.
um Honestly, I don't want to hear from any other Black person even that you're not as Black as me or you're not as dark as me. I'm over that too at the same time. Like like you said, we need to come together. Stop, don't be so ignorant, because honestly, they see us the same. They see us
Absolutely.
the same. My child
Absolutely.
was actually, one thing that I was going to say earlier, I started and then we got into the comments, but my child on his first day of school was told he wasn't Black, that you're not Black because you're brown. You don't look like the other Black kids because he's light skinned. And it's like, how dare you? And this was a white child. Tell my child that he's not Black. And I know the teacher was aware of it, didn't approach it. My daughter, when she first went to kindergarten, she what we were at an actual orientation, and a white girl walked up to her and said, "I'm not allowed to play with little girls like you because you're Black." Told her. My point is, in saying this, is that it's something that's taught. That little girl is innocent. She doesn't just learn that off of, it's taught. So if you're taught that way, if there's an ignorance. But what I would say as a white person is educate yourself as well.
Hmm.
Don't be naive, and don't expect us to not defend ourselves when you do come for us. Because I am definitely teaching my kids that you need to educate them kids too when they come at you like that. So I don't expect my kids to have to deal with being called, the N word,
Yeah.
or being hit or treated differently, or being taught by other little kids that that's not, their skin color is different than anyone else. No, we're not different.
Right.
So I think as parents, we definitely need to own in on what it is that your kids are experiencing, making sure you're having conversations with them and stuff too, because that's always a big part of, I think, education for me, is making sure to find out where my kids are, what they're going through, because don't think we're the only ones as adults going through stuff. The kids are definitely
Right.
feeling this too. They're seeing it. They're seeing it a lot. And so I'm sure there is traumas being awakened there too, as when we let them come all together again at school, guess what? They're going to have more questions. It doesn't end
Right.
here. So we have to prepare them to get ready to go back to school if that's what we want to do. I
I
personally
agree.
have thought about keeping my kids school home a year. I thought about it. I'm gonna wait to see what the plans are for starting school, but they may be home for a year with me, and I'm okay with that.
I think I would do homeschool for my little one. I don't think I would want him in a. He would have social, people he could play with and stuff like that.
Right.
But I don't think I want him in a school. I want to be able to control the curriculum that he learns,
Hmm.
um, and I want him to learn about everybody, not
Right.
just all, just us. I'm not. I don't. I have to live in a diverse community. I can't live in an all black community or all white community. I like my kids to learn diversity.
Right.
And that's how I feel about schools as well. So yeah, when once we get to that point, that's probably how I would do that, is have them homeschool. And since they have the avenue of having more and more schools online, I think it'll make it a better choice. Because
Yeah.
what kids are learning nowadays, I
Yeah.
don't know.
And to me, with COVID, it's only 2 months away from them to start back to school. So with COVID being right down, it's not gone for sure. So am I ready? I don't know that I'm ready even to put them in that environment again. So we'll see. But chances are they may take a year off and homeschool. We
That's
might
what's up.
have about 5 minutes left. Did you want to touch on anything else, or you want to kind of just tell us about what's going on tomorrow on your show?
Sure. So tomorrow I'm continuing my series on rebuilding our families, with the subtopic this week of healing family hurts. Um, and that could be all encompassing, healing hurts in general, but I'm going to deal with family hurts because in my recent conversations with people, I know that people have issues with their mother, daughters having issues with mothers, sons having issues with fathers, family secrets coming to surface, and adding re-injury or opening new wounds, and people are trying to figure out how to heal.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to just deal with that, and some of the things that I'll go over can be used when you're healing in general.
Hmm.
Anything that you come across, you can apply some of the same practices too, and hopefully heal yourself in time. Like I
Yeah.
always say, healing is messy. So
That's a
that's what I'll be
fact.
dealing with tomorrow.
That is a fact.
Yep,
But just I would say, thank you to you for coming on and just having a discussion with me because
no
I thought
problem.
if I'm gonna be on here by myself, I'm gonna be bawling, crying. But you made it easier for me to just get on here and basically reconnect with my platform. So thank you for that. I will be
For
on
sure.
yours as usual. Um, and just to everybody who is going through stuff, yes, traumas are being developed right now. Please tune in every Tuesday. If you have ideas or if you would like us to discuss something on Transformation Tuesdays, please DM me. Let me know what your thoughts are. I am open, even if you want to just have a conversation or you're hurting right now. Please DM me. Thank you for joining Transformation Tuesdays, where we reclaim our peace and we unpack some trauma at the same time. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I will see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.